girls. I'm super excited to read chapter 6 of Junie B. First Grader Cheater Pants. Chapter 6 is titled Tin Can. Remember when we last let off with the story, Junie B. Jones had taken a note home from Mr. Scary, letting her parents know that she had cheated and written all of May's homework down. They handled it pretty well, but Junie B. Jones is kind of still a little confused because she thinks her dad was cheating when he made her take the old maid card, when really he was just being sneaky and trying to win a game. Chapter 6, Tin Can. The next morning, I sat next to Herb on the bus. I sit next to him every single day, on account of that's what bestest friends automatically do. Herb started talking about his new dog, Dilly. I couldn't even pay attention that good, because how can you talk about Dilly when you still got a note from your teacher in your pocket? Mother and Daddy had signed that dumb thing. And now I had to take it back to Mr. Scary. I slumped way down in my seat. School was not being fun these days. I looked at Herb. I wish I could tell him about my problem. Only what if he didn't like cheaters? And if he found out I was one, would he not like me either? I thought real hard. And finally, I took a deep breath and I decided to risk it. I leaned really close to his ear and I whispered to him very secret. Okay, here's the situation, Herb. I said, I'm in a little bit of trouble at school. Only, I'm really not bad, I promise. It's just like yesterday, I accidentally did something wrong, and so I don't actually want to tell you what it is, or else you may not like me anymore. Herb looked at me and shrugged. You copied May's homework when she went to the office, he said. I did a gasp at that boy. Because how did he know that private information? I scratched my head. But how did you even... Herb interrupted me. I saw you, Junie B., he said. Lenny and Jose saw you too. You're a terrible sneak, Junie B. Really terrible, I mean. I did a little frown. That was not a compliment, possibly. Herb patted my arm. Don't worry. We still like you, he said. Just don't copy May's homework anymore, and then we won't get into any more trouble. I nodded my head. That's good, right? Then I patted him. That Herb is good for me, I think. Me and Herbert walked to room 1 together. Then we stopped right in our footsteps because wowie, wow, the whole room looked different, I tell you. Instead of being in rows, all the desks were arranged in groups of circles. We looked in the back to where we sit. There were 5 desks in our group. May was already in her seat. So their classroom has their desks lined up in rows. Now, a lot of our classrooms, we don't do rows. A lot of us like to do groups, like groups of 3, 4, or 5. So it looks like that's what Mr. Scary did, but rather than putting them all together, he made the desk kind of go in a circle. Hey, if you got room, why not try it? Let's see what happens next. She was cleaning her desktop top with a moist towelette. Just then, Lenny and Jose walked in behind us. Whoa, said Lenny. What's going on here, said Jose. Mr. Scary told us to please find our desk, and he would explain this in a minute. All of us went back and sat down. Sitting in a circle feels friendly. We waved and smiled at each other, only not May. She looked smuggy at us. I already know why we're sitting like this, she said. I was the first one here this morning, and when you're first, you get to know stuff. Jose stared at her moist towelette. He made a cuckoo sign. Just then, Mr. Scary went to the board, and he wrote a weird word. Boys and girls, this morning we're going to do a poetry assignment, he said. That's why I arranged your desk like this. I want you to be able to talk over your thoughts and ideas. He pointed at a weird word. It was spelled Cinquain. Does anyone want to try to pronounce this, he asked. Does anyone want to try to sound it out? May jumped right up. Tin can, she shouted. It's pronounced tin can. She smiled, very delighted. I know it's tin can because you told me that this morning. Remember, I was the first one here. I saw you right on the board, and now you told me it was pronounced tin can. Gee, I'm sorry, May, but it's not tin can. You must not have heard me correctly. The word is pronounced like the words sin, cane. May crossed her hands. No, she said, I'm sure that's not what you told me. You said it was tin can. Mr. Scary, you know you did. Sorry. No, May, I didn't, said Mr. Scary. Now please take your seat. May sat down in a huff. She put her head on her desk and hid under her sweater. Mr. Scary looked back to the board. Tin Can is a poem that has 5 lines, and each line has its own special rule. He wrote the 5 rules. Line 1, 1 word, which is the title. Second line, 2 words that describe the title. Third line, 3 action words about the title. Fourth line, 4 words that express a thought or a feeling about the title. Fifth line, 1 word that means the same thing as the title. After that, he wrote a tin can for us to see. It was a poem called Pickle. Pickle, bumpy, lumpy, crunching, munching, lunching, cucumbers making you pucker. Jurgen, I think is how you say it. I've never seen that word before. I laughed at that crazy thing because who ever heard of a pickle poem? Writing a tin can is fun, I said. This assignment will be a breeze, I think. Mr. Scary smiled. Well, sometimes poems come very easy, Junie B. And others, they don't. But if you share your words and ideas with each other, you can really help spark your imagination, he said. He looked all around. In fact, I thought it would be fun for some of you to write your poems as a team. May quick came out from under her sweater at that news. She looked at her group. Fine, I'll be the team leader, she said. After that, she made a mean face at Mr. Scary and she took out her pencil. I know just what we're going to write about too, she said very growly. She waved her hands at us. You 4 guys just talk about your normal silly stuff and I'll write the poem, she said. I'll read it to you when I get done. Lenny looked disappointed, but Mr. Scary said we should write our poem together, May, he said. See, said Jose. Were we supposed to share our ideas and thoughts, remember? May threw her hands in the air. I knew it. I knew working as a team wouldn't work. Fine, you guys just write your own poems and I'll write mine. After that, she took her pencil and paper and she hid it under her sweater again. All of us looked at each other and shrugged. And then we started to work. I tapped on my chin. It says the first line needs to be the title. So maybe the title should come first. May peeked her eyes out at me. Duh, she said. Jose covered her up again. Just then, Herb raised a hand. Hey, I know, since Mr. Scary wrote a pickle poem, why don't we write one about an olive? He leaned back in his chair and gave a happy thumbs up. No one did a thumbs up back, because what kind of a silly idea would that be? An olive, I said. I hate olives, said Jose. I threw up an olive once, said Lenny. Herb looked irritated at us. I patted him. Don't be mad, I said. It's just that maybe there's something funnier to write about than an olive, that's all. See, said Jose. Like maybe we could write about soccer. Playing soccer is fun, right? Yes, I said. Plus, riding a bus to school is fun too, right, Herb? Me and you have always had fun on the bus, don't we? Lenny shook his head. But I don't ride the bus, Junie B. He said, I think we should write about something that all of us know about. He thought for a second and they clapped his hands together. I know. We could write all about of us shampooing our hair to keep it healthy and shiny. All of us do that, right? After that, me and Jose and Herb just looked at him. Because sometimes Lenny is like off the deep end, that's why. Finally, Jose put his head on his desk. Maybe we're making this too hard, he said. We can't just write about something easy, like about how all of us are friends or something. Herb smiled a little bit. Hey, that's a good idea. We could write about the 4 of us and we can call it Friends. Jose smiled. See, he said, or amigos, maybe. Just then, I bounced up and down real excited because the perfect title just hit me, that's why. It hit me right out of the clear blue sky. Pallies, I said. Let's call it Pallies because we're all that, right? All 4 of us are Pallies, and Pallies sounds like a cute title, don't you think? I looked at them real hopeful. Then all of my Pallies started to smile. Our poem was off to a great start. There's Junie B. Jones looking so excited about coming up with the title Pallies, because you think, pal means friends, and there's more than one, so using the word Pallies kind of makes sense. Well, that's it for chapter 6. Next chapter is titled Pallies. I love you all so much, sending big virtual hugs, and I'll see you real soon.